This is the Cleveland Real Estate Investor Podcast, and on this episode, one of our favorite exterminators, Mayor of High Rock Pest Control, joins us to talk about how to determine if a short-term stay tenant brought bed bugs or not, preventative measures when dealing with bed bugs, signs you can use to see if you have bed bugs in the property, and much more. Stay tuned.
Okay.
All right. Hi, everybody. This is an emergency meeting of the Cleveland Real Estate Investor. We're bringing back our mad scientist, Mayor from High Rock Pest Control. Did I get that name of that company right, Mayor?
You absolutely did. High Rock Pest Control.
Calling from his mobile office in the car. The only place bugs can't get to him, right?
For the most part.
Okay. All right. Well, it's cicada season, so you should be reveling in this, right, Mayor?
Yeah, but I mean, we're hoping. It doesn't look like our area, Cleveland, particularly, will be hit according to most of the maps.
Yeah, well, we were down in Cincinnati for a wedding on Friday, and it was deafening. It was deafening in this part of town, kind of an older part of Cincinnati. Obviously, go downtown, there's nothing there, but so it was incredible. The noise.
Yeah, the noise is incredible, and it really is pretty interesting and kind of weird. Like, it's just kind of like a storm, it just kind of hits here, it doesn't hit there. I'm not sure exactly the science of it, why it's like that.
Right.
But it looks like our area, in general, Cleveland as a whole, will probably be spared. But I guess the good thing is it's just a temporary issue.
Yeah, it's not like it's bad news. It's just kind of an interesting natural event. So, anyways, let's talk about our bed bug problem. We first off, for our listeners, we got a notification from one of our Airbnb tenants that they had bed bug bites, and this was literally on their last day of a 1-week stay that they reported this, and so they didn't report anything up till then. And we're not sure. The first question I want to ask you, Mayor, is we're not sure whether they brought these bed bugs in or whether they were already there. Can you comment on that?
Yes. So pending on the length of stay vis-a-vis the level of infestation, we usually can have somewhat of an idea if it's possible they brought it, or you can kind of rule out the guests. So if they're there for a month, with the level of infestation that we saw in the particular case that you're talking about, so then it's very likely that they brought it. But with the amount of nymphs and eggs that we saw, it would be highly unlikely that developed just in the period of a week.
So it's doubtful that they brought it in.
Most likely, yeah. It's now, in this situation, it's doubtful. Obviously, every situation. If there would have just been 2 adult bed bugs, then it's very likely they brought it with them, and it could be not, but it very likely could be that they did, and that would be even on a 1-night or a 2-night stay.
Right, and we had the prior. I'm sorry, keep going.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was just saying, when you see the beginning of an infestation, like in this situation, I don't mean infestation like infested, but in the beginning of them starting to lay eggs, and you see the next generation's coming, then you know that it's been there for a little bit more than a couple of days or a week.
Right. So bottom line is doubtful that they brought it in, given what you're seeing if they're only there for a week.
Yeah, in this situation, I would say very doubtful.
Okay, now okay, so let's do Sherlock Holmes with you. We had a tenant in there who was a fire relocation, which is one of our clients, and they were there for 3 months. So nothing. Could they have picked it up coming in and out, or some guest coming in, somebody from the family coming in?
Right, so that
something
is
like this
interesting. Yeah, so that is very interesting. They were there for a long time, like a significant period of time, like 3 months, and we didn't hear any complaints or anything. Now, it definitely was not from the beginning of when they stayed, because after 3 months, it would have been a much worse scenario than what we saw. So we can, let's say, eliminate that in this situation. So it would sound more like what you just suggested, that they probably picked it up somehow towards the end of their stay. Maybe didn't want to say anything because they were nervous how it would play out for them, or they didn't realize.
Yeah.
So they just leave the property.
They didn't realize. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they just leave the property, and then the next. So as we know, bed bugs can live for a very long time without having a source of food. So technically, scientifically, over 500 days. That's in a perfect scenario, when they just fed and they have the right climate and the right temperature. But we've done this ourselves. You can take a bed bug, put it in a Ziploc bag, and 6 months later, you give it a flick, and it'll just start walking around. So 6 months is easy without having a source of food. That's what makes them such a tough pest in that sense. That basically, even without a host, they'll have no problem living. Whereas, let's say if you contrast that with fleas or adult fleas, at least adult fleas without a host, they'll just die out. The larva can live longer, but adult fleas, not bed bugs, they'll just hang around, and then suddenly you get another renter or something like that, and then boom, first night they come, suddenly they're getting bit.
Now, to our investors out there, there's two ways you can go. One is your conventional single-family, long-term renter, or you can do the adventurous route, which is what we do, which is the Airbnb route. And so with Airbnb, you're going to have to be on your toes in terms of making sure that you're not booking a place that has bed bugs, obviously. So walk me through, and we've got Travis Riley with us on this podcast, who is sort of our maintenance director of all the properties. Walk us through, Mayor, what the protocols we need to follow as we transition to a new tenant.
So what I would recommend, and I just want to preface what I'm saying with that, especially now, we're talking to investors and people who this is pertinent to, with the increased travel. There's going to be an increase of that hitchhiking and bringing bed bugs from one place to another. Just the travel, being that COVID is, pretty much past us, and people are traveling much more. And I'm expecting, I think, travel industry forecasted like a huge boom in travel. So I think it is important to at least for now, put in some protocols. And what I would do is I would have the people who clean up the property for the turnover, they should be elementally trained. It's not very hard to do a pretty good bed bug inspection. So when they're stripping the linens, they're looking for the bed bug signs, and they're looking on the couch and, let's say, recliners. If there's going to be bed bugs, 90% of the time, that's where they're going to be. So if you could just do that simple step, and I would be happy if we have time, or we can do it at another time, and we can go through exactly the steps of a proper bed bug inspection. You're probably looking at maybe a 10, 15-minute investment of time, and probably about a 90% elimination meaning you'll find 90% of the bed bug cases if they would be there.
Here's the dilemma, and Travis, you can weigh in. Bed bugs are incredibly good at hiding. So how's that going to reveal itself in an inspection?
So when we say they're incredibly good at hiding, it's not so much that they're trying to hide. Their natural habitat, their harborage, is in tight spots. So you just have to look at those spots and you'll find. So if we're looking at a mattress, for example, any seam on the mattress needs to be looked at. So, for example, a pillow top mattress, you have basically at least 3 seams. You got the top seam where you have the pillow top, then where the pillow top meets the mattress, and then the bottom seam. And you got to look at both sides of that seam. So you can do it with the mattress on. You do 3 sides, and then you pull the mattress, a little bit further down off the bed, and you get the other side. Box spring. Pick up the box spring, peel back those 4 corner plastic pieces. I would always peel off the black. Usually it's black or white. That little, they got that material they put on the bottom of it, and then just check check those seams where the material is pulled over the frame, the wooden frame. In other words, when you say they are good at, if they're not for say hiding, it's just they're hiding in tight spots. Yeah,
right.
And also one thing always to remember, very important, is a headboard. So any place where wood joins together, that joint for them is a natural spot for them to live.
Okay, Travis, you want to weigh in on this?
Well, and I think the thing to check is, because bed bugs, like they're feces, right? Because they eat the blood and then they, release that on those seams and stuff that you're talking about, right? So
yeah, that would be one of the main signs besides for live, right? That you'd be looking for. Travis, absolutely correct.
Yeah, so like that's the limited research I've done is they're like kind of little black brown spots that are just literally tiny pieces of droppings.
Yeah, it looks like someone took a fine point, like felt tip marker, and just made a dot, like dropped it on. I mean, it's usually more than one.
Right.
And then the other thing that they leave, there's two other things that bed bugs leave. There's 5 Nick stars from when they develop from the first Nick star, like a baby, till they become fully adults. As they pass from one stage to the next, they kind of like a snake, they shed their skin, so you have these shells. It's the exact shape of a bed bug, and it looks almost like a bed bug, just as their shell. So that's something, another thing you can look for. And the other thing is the females when they lay their eggs. So they are visible. They are small, but they're not microscopic. They're visible to the naked eye. You don't need any enlargement, to make it bigger. They are the shape of a grain of rice, but smaller and a little bit like less white. I would say almost a little bit more translucent, but they are white. Like you can see that. Once you see one, you'll be able to see one for the rest of your life. Like once you know what you're looking at.
Right.
Those would be the general bed bug stuff.
Now, Travis, we've gotten into the habit of the last year to use these mattress protectors, right?
Right. We've been getting special mattress protectors that fully encase the mattress and box spring with a zipper, which helps prevent bed bugs from crawling out of their harborage.
Correct. So the mattress protectors, Travis, actually, you said it right. It is a little bit of a common misconception. They won't eliminate or prevent bed bugs. They serve two purposes. One purpose is if you have bed bugs on the outside, and let's say you're buying a new mattress and you don't want them to, if they should not, like you can exterminate them, you couldn't eliminate them, you're nervous about protecting the mattress. So then it would protect them from living on the mattress and ruining your mattress. The other thing that it helps is like what Travis said, that if there are bed bugs living on the mattress and you put a bed bug cover on, they won't be able to get out. So if someone's sleeping on there wouldn't get bit. I mean, eventually they would die. But they don't eliminate or prevent bed bugs. So we find this very often. We have customers call us up and say, I don't understand. I bought mattress covers and I see bed bugs on the mattress cover. They're like, yeah, they'll be happy to live in a mattress cover. The game, like I said, is either they won't ruin the mattress, or if they're on the mattress, they won't get out and bite the person, sleeping on the mattress.
Well, and
right. In your situation, that helps a lot, because even if there was a bed bug on the mattress, then you put on a mattress cover so that the next renter or the next tenant doesn't, get bit or, wouldn't be exposed to bed bugs.
Well, and is that also a sign that their harborage would be somewhere else if they're still crawling on the bed, even though we zipped up all our mattresses and box springs?
Yeah, then you know that you had bed bugs living somewhere else. Yeah, and provided, again, they're not super strong. So sometimes even if they get one little hole, the bed bugs will find their way out of that hole once their pheromones, they're going to detect, let's say the person's sleeping there, so they're going to detect that carbon dioxide, and then they're going to find dioxide, and they'll find that hole. So providing that the integrity of the mattress cover is intact, then yes, if you see one on the outside, you know that you have a bed bug harborage, or at least one or even more somewhere else in the home.
I want our listeners to pick up on what you just said if they play it back on their whatever podcast app they're using. You talked about carbon dioxide. Now, that's something I didn't really know, but somebody sleeping is emitting carbon dioxide, which is like a wake-up call to our bed bugs, right, Mayor?
Yes, that's what they're trying to do. That's the pheromone. That's what they pick up on. That and the body heat is what is there for. That's how they know we're there. That's how they know they're
okay. So it's like they're smelling a barbecue, right?
Correct, exactly. It's like July 4th, exactly, or Memorial Day when you walk around the neighborhood. You're like, wow.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're coming out of COVID. They're like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I can use some sausage. Yeah, for sure. I just one little point. It doesn't have. We always emit every time we exhale, right? We're emitting carbon dioxide.
Right.
It's you don't have to be sleeping. It's just that a sleeping person, or if you're a person laying in bed and just playing, whatever, busy on their phone, you would have the same effect in the same situation. They would be detecting that the person there. Same thing with a couch or a recliner. Basically, wherever we spend a significant amount of time, I like to call living furniture, like quote unquote, like any type of furniture where we actually sit around for a little bit or lay. You're going to find them there, and hence they're called bed bugs.
Right, and that's why. Yeah. Now, as opposed to lazy boy bugs, most people are sleeping in beds. Okay, so let's move on. We found the bed bug. Now what do we do?
So you want to call your favorite exterminator. There's two methods of treating bed bugs. Two basic methods right now that are pretty much the most widespread way of treating. One is the chemical insecticide method, where the pest control providers should be using a insecticide that kills all stages of the bed bugs, from eggs through nymphs through adults. We use something that has both a knockdown capability, meaning it'll kill basically on contact, within a minute of contact, and then it has a residual as well, meaning even after the chemical dries and it's safe for a person to sit on the couch when the bed bug walks through, it'll absorb it through its shell and kill it, obviously not as fast and not at the same rate, but it does have the residual capability as well. We're treating all the places all the seams and crevices where we know they live, the perimeter of the whole room, the base of the wall, the wall outlet covers. You want to make sure the shades, if there's any shades next to the bed, blinds or shades. Sometimes you find bed bugs in pictures on the wall, and, especially if they were near the bed. All that would get treated. And usually it'll knock it out within a week. In the situation that we had, but
okay, so here's the dilemma. You're running an Airbnb. Your nightmare scenario is you just got a call from the tenant moving out. Hey, I just got bit by a bed bug. 3 days later, you got somebody else coming in. So is it possible to get this turned around so that you're not losing money on your next booking? Or should you just pull, like, for example, what we did was we decided, look, it's got to be in that couch. So we just pulled the couch out. I mean, that's what they're there. They're in the couch there somewhere. So we pulled the couch out. We've already gone through, you guys have already rolled in there. You've done your spraying around, stuff like that. Now we feel that we've alleviated the problem. Is that correct or not?
In your situation, I was comfortable with that. Also, I want to mention that you guys are doing that deep clean after and vacuuming up and making sure that, most likely there won't be anything there. I think a person has to be aware of every situation is different. If there's one or two, then I'm more comfortable, or very small. In the case of infestation, and it was very localized to basically the couch. And, we saw what we saw in the bed, and we didn't see any further activity. If you had a long-term renter, let's say, and they brought in at the beginning of their period of rent, rent, and then you kind of had somewhat of a real infestation, I probably would pull the next rent. It's probably not worth it. You probably get a better view, which I know we all want to avoid always. So I probably would, in that situation, hold off with the next rent. I do want to just speak about the other method because for your listeners, it's also, I don't know your business. I don't know how, what the margins are on a renter, but there is another way of treating, which is heat treatment. Now the heat treatment, they basically bring in huge, like commercial heaters, and we're talking about getting the surface temperature of all the surfaces. So it's not an air temperature, but a surface temp up to about 125 Fahrenheit. And at that temperature, it kills out, eggs, kills out bed, kills out everything. It's about 3 times the price of a chemical spray. So, I don't know if it would be worth it.
But Travis, we went ahead and pulled the trigger on a steamer, right? Which gets that temperature way up. You want to elaborate, Travis?
Well, yeah, we purchased a steamer, which we are planning to use in all the furniture and all the kind of cracks and crevices where they may hide as well. With that extreme heat, we're hoping it would kill them off too. And then after, we would do a second treatment of just, powders and sprays that I bought as well after, we use the steamer.
Yeah, it depends on there are companies that do steam. It really depends on how good the steamer is and how good the operator is. If the steamer gets up to that 125, remember it has to be a surface temp. So, for example, let's just say, that it's way in the crevice of the mattress. So even if you went with a steamer over it, but it wasn't actually 125, and it was, let's say, a full adult, you probably won't kill it with that. When they do the heat treatment, they're putting in these heaters and they constantly take the temperature of the room and all the various areas of the room, and they make sure with the airflow that it's sealed off so it actually cooks up, and that every single surface, every part of the mattress is 125 degrees, reach that 125, so it'll kill the eggs way deep in the crevices, etc. Like that. So it is a good idea, the steamer. First of all, you have to be super thorough, and you have to make sure that it's, I would say a commercial grade or a really good steamer.
Okay, I got another question. Pets. Do pets bring in bed bugs? Or is that just, are bed bugs equal opportunity hitchhikers?
What I've read and been taught and have studied, the equal opportunity feeders, but it's very rare. Rarely do you find them on dogs or cats. Mostly they're feeding off humans for their harborage, is where, beds, couches, where we are. It's considered it's very rare.
Okay, Mary, so people are freaked out. Should they take tenants with dogs, cats, whatever? And the question is, do dogs and cats raise the possibility of more bed bugs?
So the short answer is no, even though technically they could feed off of them and they could be a host. Technically, like scientifically, but it's very rare. Mainly, humans obviously potentially have a flea issue. We're not discussing that, but as bed bugs go, that should not, that doesn't weigh in on the pros or the cons. They won't increase your chances.
Well, and because my research that I did, the design of their legs, and I think the research I did saying like the design of the bed bug's legs aren't optimal for like clinging on to hair, like human hair and stuff like that. And is that why there are certain traps that have like a certain surface that will catch them so they can't crawl back up?
Yes, that's correct. That's why they have those like cups that you can put underneath the bed, and that makes it very hard for them to. Yeah, they basically just get stuck. It's kind of like a moat. The same idea as a moat around the castle. You just put that around the bed bug legs, but that's assuming that they're not on the bed. Most of the time, that when we treat bed bugs and you have somewhat of infestation, they're actually either on the bed frame already, somewhere on the bed, headboard, mattress. It's just that's only just another tool amongst many tools. For itself, it's not very much. I like to use that more for a monitor. You can also, just in general, as an easy, for your listeners, they sell bed bug. It's basically like a sticky, like a monitor. What we use, like a pest control monitor, which would just be like a piece of paper with a sticky. They just make it like in a circle with a cut in it. You can just put it right around the bed legs, and then it's a sticky, so they can't crawl out of it either. And you can get like a package of 100 for like $5 or less.
Oh wow!
They're equally as effective, less obtrusive, and you could just it's not a big deal, and they're really good. So, you could look at that anywhere on Amazon. Just Google it. You'll find them. It's basically a sticky that's in the shape of a circle that goes around the legs of the bed.
Okay, so let's summarize this. Our standard operating procedure, Travis, is when we get that turnaround, we bring our cleaning crew in. They obviously change the beds, do the laundry, get things ready to go. But we have one more step, which was we look for signs of bed bugs, right? Travis, and you've been trained by Mayor. You're passing it along to our cleaning crew, correct?
Well, it's just more of a realization that step needs to be taken more seriously. So yes, I agree. Now we are more aware of the steps and what to look for and what to check, for sure.
Okay, good. Well, Mayor, we're going to let you go back and get more pests out of people's houses. But we're going to want to have you back in a couple of weeks because we want to talk about other problems like mice, rats, raccoons, squirrels. You'll be a regular Jungle Larry for those people who grew up in Cleveland. So we'll have you back, Mayor, and we'll have everybody look for our YouTube segment coming up. We'll do an actual. We'll show Mayor at work with Travis on looking for bed bugs on our video channel. So, all right, Mayor. Hey, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward. We'll be in touch.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
See you later.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Cleveland Real Estate Investor Podcast. Find all our episodes at www.riley-properties.com or on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, or anything that you listen to podcasts on.